Hello, welcome to the SPCSA's Introduction to Grants module for new school fiscal training. This very short module will demonstrate what an exemplar of an allowable budget detail looks like for this grant. We'll provide a couple of example narratives and highlight the required components for a couple of sample expenditures. These examples are intended to demonstrate what a narrative should include in a school's Title II Part A application. Let's begin. During this very short recorded presentation, I will cover the following outcome. By the end of this module, you should be able to identify the key components that comprise a quality Title II Part A program application budget detail narrative that meets both the SPCSA and NDE program review standards. Here's an example budget detail narrative that meets all of the SPCSA and NDE's required narrative components. As you can see, a key is located at the bottom of the following slides. For this example, we're going to use Object Code 100, which corresponds to the Nevada State Chart of Accounts for salaries. Notice that applicable key components based on what is requested are present. They are the school name, the type and purpose, the beneficiary, and the cost calculation. Benefit categories highlighted in the key in orange aren't applicable to Object Code 100 for salaries. Let's review these 4 key components that are for Object Code 100 a little further. The school name in green should be self-explanatory. The type and purpose highlighted in blue should describe what the type of expenditure is being requested and why the expenditure is necessary, or the reason and purpose for the request. If specific services or interventions are requested, please remember that these should be backed by evidence for federal grants. The beneficiary in purple should describe who will be benefiting from the service, activity, and/or intervention requested by these funds. The benefit categories in orange, again, is only applicable to Object Code 200, which corresponds to fringe benefits. I'll provide you with an example of what that might look like in the next slide. The cost calculation highlighted in red lists specific positions, services, and items, and gives a count of each of those positions, services, or items, provides a reasonable cost for each position, service, or item, and concludes with some sort of not to exceed verbiage or total listing that totals the amount of the budget line item. For the second example, we'll use Object Code 200, which is fringe benefits. Notice again that applicable key components based on what is requested are still present. They're the school name, the type and purpose, the beneficiary, and the relevant benefit categories now, as well as the cost calculation. So again, you can see the school name is in green is present, Charter School in Nevada. The type and purpose is highlighted in blue. So here they're asking for the standard fringe benefits for extra duty for this Title II professional development activities, such as mentoring, PLCs. And then you see in purple, the beneficiary is for all teachers to support this SEL achievement, right? So all the teachers would be the beneficiary. The orange corresponds to the benefit categories. So you can see that would include things like workers' comp, Medicare, and so forth. And then the cost calculation is red. All costs are estimated and will not exceed the budgeted amount per line item. And then what the totals is $102,240. And then they kind of explain an estimated 3% rounding to the nearest 1% times that total 102 to give a cost calculation. And then plus a portion of benefits for another teacher at 3148. So there's kind of this rounding off of that, or a certain amount of funds that will be provided, but maybe not the full amount. And then the total, $3,098.65. So these examples are not an exhaustive list on these last 2 slides, but rather intended to help charter schools identify the key elements required in a narrative. In this case, specifically for those that are Object Code 100, and which is salaries, and 200, which is the fringe benefits, which are both object codes required by the Nevada Department of Education's Chart of Accounts. Please review the additional GMS application modules and budget detail supplemental resources we have available up in our Canvas repository for additional guidance. We believe most of our application process questions can be answered via the training and supports offered in our Canvas learning management system. But if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to the applicable grants unit staff. You may find this information under the resources area of this Canvas repository. Please locate the SPCSA grant unit contacts document to determine the applicable contact. You can also find contacts within the GMS system itself. Thanks for reviewing our training today. Please don't forget to review all those recordings and resources associated in this module on Canvas. And remember, if you have any additional needs for assistance, feel free to reach out to SPCSA staff. Thanks so much and have a great day.